CBC panel humiliates Liberals as Carney's bizarre speech sparks shocking backlash. In a dramatic political development, Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent speech has ignited a firestorm of criticism, culminating in a scathing panel discussion on CBC. The address, intended to outline the government's vision for Canada's future, instead left many questioning the direction of the Liberal Party. The CBC panel, known for its incisive political analysis, did not hold back, labeling the speech as bizarre and disjointed. Panelists expressed concern over what they perceived as a lack of coherence in Carney's messaging, particularly regarding economic and environmental policies. Prime Minister Carney, who assumed office in March 2025, has faced mounting challenges in steering Canada through turbulent political and economic waters. His administration's ambitious infrastructure projects, aimed at revitalizing the economy, have been met with mixed reactions. While some applaud the efforts to stimulate growth, others express concern over the environmental and social implications of such rapid development. The government's push for large-scale projects, including the expansion of LNG facilities and the construction of modular nuclear reactors, has raised eyebrows among environmentalists and Indigenous leaders. Critics argue that these initiatives may prioritize economic growth over ecological preservation and Indigenous rights. The CBC panel's critique centered on what they described as Carney's contradictory stance on environmental issues. While the Prime Minister has publicly committed to addressing climate change, his government's support for fossil fuel infrastructure projects has led to accusations of hypocrisy. Panelists questioned how the administration plans to reconcile its commitment to environmental sustainability with its support for industries that contribute significantly to carbon emissions. One panelist remarked, "It's as if the Prime Minister is speaking from two different playbooks, one advocating for progress, the other for preservation." This internal contradiction within the government's policies has not gone unnoticed by the public. Recent surveys indicate a growing skepticism among Canadians about the Liberal Party's ability to balance economic growth with environmental stewardship. A significant portion of the electorate feels that the government's push for development may come at the expense of long-term ecological health. The CBC panel's analysis reflects this sentiment, highlighting the need for a more cohesive and transparent approach to policymaking. Adding fuel to the fire, Carney's speech touched upon Canada's foreign policy, specifically its relationship with the United States. The Prime Minister's comments were perceived by some as a veiled critique of U.S. President Donald Trump, further straining diplomatic ties between the two nations. Experts warn that such rhetoric could have repercussions on trade agreements and international cooperation. The CBC panel echoed these concerns, cautioning that inflammatory statements could jeopardize Canada's standing on the global stage. The backlash from the CBC panel is not an isolated incident. Within the Liberal Party, there is growing discontent over Carney's leadership style and policy direction. Some members have privately expressed concerns about the Prime Minister's decision-making process, fearing that his approach may alienate key constituencies. The party's internal divisions are becoming increasingly apparent, with differing opinions on how best to navigate the challenges facing the nation. In response to the criticism, Carney's office issued a statement defending the speech, asserting that the Prime Minister's remarks were taken out of context. However, the damage may already be done. Political analysts suggest that the controversy could impact the Liberals' standing in upcoming provincial elections, where voter sentiment is increasingly influenced by perceptions of leadership effectiveness. The party's ability to maintain public trust will be tested in the coming months. The situation remains fluid, with both supporters and detractors closely monitoring developments. As Canada navigates these choppy political waters, the question on many minds is whether the Liberal Party can recalibrate its message and restore public confidence, or if this episode marks the beginning of a deeper crisis of leadership. The coming weeks will be crucial in determining the trajectory of Carney's premiership. In the coming weeks, all eyes will be on Prime Minister Carney and his government to see how they address the fallout from this debacle. The path forward will require careful navigation, as the Liberals seek to mend fences within their ranks and with the Canadian public. Only time will tell if they can turn the tide in their favor or if this controversy will become a defining moment in their political trajectory. The Liberal Party's response to the criticism will be closely scrutinized. How Carney and his team choose to engage with dissenting voices within the party and the media will signal their commitment to transparency and accountability. The public's perception of the government's handling of this crisis could have lasting implications for the party's political future. As the political landscape continues to evolve, the Liberal Party faces a pivotal moment. The decisions made in the aftermath of this controversy will shape the party's identity and its relationship with the Canadian electorate. Whether this incident becomes a catalyst for positive change or a harbinger of decline remains to be seen. In conclusion, Prime Minister Carney's recent speech and the subsequent CBC panel discussion have exposed deep divisions within the Liberal Party and raised fundamental questions about the government's priorities. The coming months will be critical in determining whether the party can overcome this challenge and regain the trust of the Canadian people. The outcome will have significant implications for Canada's political landscape in the years to come.